Hey guys, what's up? Have you ever thought about putting salt on a railroad track? I know, what a silly thing to ask. I don't suppose normal people ask themselves such things. I mean, who in their right mind would think about salting a railroad track? Let's be honest. Anyway, in case you want to try doing that, you better not do that in a fine state of Alabama, because this can turn real ugly. So, why is it that you can't salt a railroad track in Alabama? Despite the fact that salting a railroad is a weird endeavor in itself, the state police in Alabama is actually authorized to undertake truly brutal measures. The reparations are indeed radical. If an Alabama officer sees you salting a railroad track, get ready for an execution. Yep, no trial, no nothing. Just you, a police officer, and his big gun. Although, oftentimes, they'll first try to catch you with a lasso. Anyway, authorities have pretty much everything they need to execute right on the spot. And you know what's even weirder? Many people come to Alabama for this silly, salty reason solely. For some adventurous types, it is an American version of Russian roulette, let's say. And so the whole thing has gone so far, it turned into a kind of a two-player game. If a villain can salt a track and get away, the police officer responsible will have to hang himself. It turned into a kind of show that a lot of people like to see. But there aren't many police officers who are willing to risk their lives this way. Even $20,000 salary doesn't seem too promising for them. And then rumor has it there are only 5 sharp policemen left. And let me tell you, these guys do know how to handle a lasso, which is proven by the fact that they are still alive. The origins of such a silly law are unclear, but it seems that this way local authorities are trying to keep cattle safe. You see, there were plenty of moose in Alabama back in the days, but since moose love salt so much, they hang around railroad tracks quite often, and sometimes these fellas get knocked by a train. You might be surprised to know that back in the days of the Wild West outrage, bandits and crooks used this method to stop and rob plenty of trains. Here's what they used to do. They would gather a group or a whole herd of moose, feed them salt, make them follow them, then they would pour that salt on tracks, and that would make those poor unaware animals stay right in the middle of the railroad. The train driver had no other choice but to make an emergency stop, and the bandits would do the rest. Easy money. As for me, I tend to think that this silly old law is more like a sort of joke, and a sort of tribute to the good old days. It's a legend of sorts that keeps the boring life in Alabama more or less interesting. It is much more likely that whoever will try to salt a track will have to pay a fine, and a big one without a doubt. Maybe they'll even throw some in jail for a couple of months. Because one way or another, it remains a very serious crime, and frankly, I don't see why anyone would ever want to try to do something like this. By the way, similar things happen in Alaska, only it has to do with bears. Bears like licking stuff, and it's a common knowledge that you don't lick metal things when it's freezing, right? All the kids know that for sure. They never lick that swing twice, you know what I mean? Trains in Alaska are often late because of the weather, and sometimes packs of bears gather around and, well, apparently some inexplicable force makes them lick the tracks. And obviously, they get stuck. Which is why railroad engineers must be extra cautious. It is their duty to make sure they don't hit them. They always carry hot water in case they have to detach the poor fellas off the rails. Traumatized animals are taken good care of, don't you worry. They get all the necessary help, and they even get their favorite food, honey, half a kilo each. So in case you're worried about the animals, don't. They're taken care of. Alright, looks like that's all for today, guys. I can only say, don't try salting railroad tracks in Alabama, and don't go around licking metal things when it's freezing outside. I'm sure you all know that already, I just wanted to remind you to be on a safe side, that's all. Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you did, press the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to Real Bizarre, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.